mean, it's a practice that brings about transformation. It's a process, and then it leads to something that is no longer a process, in a way, although the process kind of continues. But especially in the beginning, the process is definitely one of moving from being stuck to one of flow, to one of presence. You know, I don't know if you experienced it. I think probably most of you have. We easily get stuck in this world, you know, our own patterns and our own resistance, our own ego catches us. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the ego, except that we don't want it to be the master. We have to be the master. I, the deeper I, you know, has to be the ruling factor. And we choose that every moment. What do we focus on? Do we focus on this limited horizontal existence, you know, that has to do with running after this and running after that and thinking that we need this and need that and don't have this and why, you know, endless things in the mind that really can do nothing but drive us crazy. And the difference there is when we go inside and use this double breathing and use the simple focus on the chakras to allow all of that stuff that is stuck in us. It's stuck in all of us, from past lives for all we know, and certainly from this life. We've been conditioned and all of that in various ways, sometimes with the best intentions, but you know, it still makes us stuck. And to go in with this double breath and to really feel the chakras open, to feel that the ice that is in there, the crystallization, the rocks if you want sometimes, you know, if for all of that to melt, to get ground up, and then to be a flow experience instead of a stuck experience. This is really fabulous. And then when you do that for a while, when it is ready to happen, suddenly you say, oh, I just am. And this huge burden, Bruce talked about that this Sunday, and it's incredible experience of allowing the burden of that stuckness, you know, to become flow, and then finally just a simple experience of presence. That simple I am. And that I am, then we realize everybody is that I am. So of course there's oneness, and you can really, even though people of course have all kinds of various degrees of stuckness and not really experiencing that, we, as we start to experience it, know it, and can start to relate to our lives, you know, everything in our life, with that awareness. And then it really changes. You know, our life moves from being ordinary, and I'm not saying that arrogantly, that our, you know, ordinary is something wrong. Ordinary is ordinary, you know. But extraordinary is feeling that deeper well-being, that deeper presence, that deeper energy that is at the core of our existence. Regardless of what our problems are and what our challenges are and what our sense of limitation is, you know, all of that dissolves, right? In that, I saw in you know, this experience. Boom. Where is the problem? If there was one, it's gone. right? It is incredible. People are looking always for miracles, you know? I mean, magic tricks and all kinds of things that are fabulous. But really the most fabulous thing in the world is that we can go inside and do this work for ourselves with some help, yeah, but you know, you're doing it for yourself. And it really happens. When you do the work long enough, you become kind of, you know, you have some glimpses of it, and then you become more and more grounded in it, and then you just are it. Even as life continues, you know, and you cry and laugh and all the things that you did before, but it's more like, well, this is just the energy doing its thing, you know? It's Shiva's play. And you can step back enough to have that experience. I mean, when I first started practicing with Rudy, I didn't really know what he was talking about when he was talking about energy at first. But I somehow, you know, instinctively trusted him 100%. And I just could feel. I mean, in fact, the first time when he gave me the intro and gave me a big hug, you know, I had this voice inside came out and said, "You will do this every day until you die." I mean, I don't know where it came from, but I took it very seriously. And when I sat there in class with him, all I could feel in the beginning was my stuckness. My heart was closed. I was, you know, full of anxiety, full of stress and tension. My father had died unexpectedly when I was young, and I had never really digested that pain, you know. And then sitting with him, doing the work, and being more and more frustrated because I felt my ice lump in my heart getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And I said, what am I doing wrong? And then I said, I got a little bit mad at myself, you know. I said, shit, I really want to open. I want to really feel this thing that he's talking about. And I took one of these monumental breaths, and I held my breath a long time, and all of a sudden my heart exploded, like you see on Discovery Channel when the sun explodes, you know, like that. And all the stuff that was stuck here just melted and went down to the base of my spine and up the spine, and just threw me over 3-4 folding chairs. And it was a little scary, but it was really powerful, and told me that all this stuff that I had been carrying on inside as ice and resistance was really my own deeper energy, my own love, and I could really feel a lot more. More pain too, but it was good. Pain is good. It's okay. So, you know, and in that experience of just totally letting go, because that's what I was doing. What comes then in a flash, you know, as I'm laying on the floor, it's just that, oh, thank God, I am home. I am in that experience, at least for this moment, you know, that I have been seeking. And Rudy walked past me that one of those times. This kept happening for a while in the beginning. And well, it's really working for you, isn't it? I go, oh, yeah, I guess so. You know, one eye this way, one eye that way. It's really, it was a very strong experience. And I'm not saying, you know, you've had some of those experiences probably yourselves here. And it's not that we see very dynamic and strong things. Sometimes that happens if you have a lot of ice and, you know, stuck stuff in you. Then, of course, when you get some heat onto that, it can be explosive. You know, when you use iceberg, it starts to melt. It usually cracks and makes a lot of noise and can be explosive. So this is okay, but it might be for you just a more quiet, gentle thing. You know, suddenly you start to feel some of the stuff melt and go down, and you feel some champagne bubbles in the spine or something, whatever, you know. And if you don't feel anything, that can also be fine, because you start to feel the effects of this transformation and your work in your life. You know, you see that if you can be a little bit above it, if you can be a little bit free of your own stuff and feel a little bit of joy in the middle of whatever your life is, then you start to see that that different state has a different impact on the life around you. You may not get rich, you may not get the man or woman you want or whatever, but something will be telling you that, oh, my life is getting purified. I'm changing, I'm getting transformed, or I am in the transformation process. And then, you know, we just hang on to that and keep at it, and then at a certain point, that those glimpses that we've had of that state takes over. It kind of dawns on us that, well, that's all there is. This is, you know, and we can be in 2, 3 different places at the same time. It's not that we run away from life and sit and protect this thing at all, but we go through our life the usual way and take one step at a time, and we just, at the same time, have this deeper awareness, this deeper sense of well-being, this deeper sense of liberation. Liberation from ourselves, you know. And then in a way we can have a bit of a heavenly experience on this crazy planet. Humility is important. So that when we start to rise out of this thickness that is most of our lives, then we also don't get arrogant about thinking we are something special. I mean, the energy is special, and yeah, of course we have extraordinary lives that way, but it shouldn't be something that makes us less compassionate. It should make us more compassionate and more humble, more grateful.